Okay, um, so I made a video earlier today about setting up the VirtualBox, and this is a video about doing Project 1A. And so this is a new setup of the VirtualBox. I installed this on my home machine. I'm now at home. And so I'm going to click in the lower left, and it's going to bring up, I can search for applications, and I'm going to search for terminal. And there's two terminals. I've played around with this. I think they're both the same kind of terminal, but there might be a difference between them that I'm not aware of. And so here's the same shell that we saw during lecture today in class. And there's a command stty-a, and this tells me that this shell has 24 rows and 80 columns. The reason that's important is because in the prompt it says that I don't want any line in your file to have more than 100 characters per line. By the way, right now you can see I'm on this, I'm the me user account, and I'm on, it looks like this is the name of the machine is Arch Linux 19F, and I'm in, and we saw tilde is the home directory, and so I'm in my home directory. If I type who am I, it's me, that's the username. My present working directory is in the me directory, within the home directory, within the root directory. And I could use this cd command, and I could cd to the root directory and do an ls. And here are the directories within the root directory. There's some color coding, and these colors have different meanings. I can go to the home directory and do an ls, and there's only me, and I can cd me, and I'm back where I started. We also talked about the touch command. So here I'm going to touch a file called file1. Something we didn't discuss is you can do a so-called long listing, and what this means is it's the ls command, but you can add what they call flags in Unix, and so they alter how the program runs. And so here I'm doing ls-l on the file1 program, and you can see these are something we'll talk about later, that's who can access it. And the important thing is this right here says that it has 0 bytes. There's nothing in it. And if we were to edit this, and so I'm going to now do VI, which is the editor I like on file1, then I can say this is Hank typing away, and then I'll do a write and a quit, and if I do an ls-l on file1, now I can see that it has 26 bytes. Similarly, we learned about the word count command. If I do a word count on file1, then it says there's 1 line, 5 words, and 26 characters, and that's why there's the 26 bytes. And so this was something that came up during lecture today. What is the file format? And I'm going to dig more in on that. It's just bytes, and I'll talk about how those bytes are put together. But as far as we're concerned, it just natively types into what I guess those that come from Windows world would think about being a .txt file. But there's no extensions necessary. It's just a file with data in it, and the data all happens to correspond to bytes that are the bytes that we type on our keyboard. So if I were to do this again, then I've done a vi command yy, and I can paste it, and I think I can, it looks like I'm not happy with about this vi. It works a little differently than what I know, but I'm making a bunch of lines, and then now if I do a word count on file1, then I've got 255 words. So I'm almost there. And so now I've got 305 words. So this file1 would be enough to meet the directions here. And of course, you don't have to write an essay. What I really want, I'd be happy for you to write an essay. I'll read your essay if you write it. But what I'd really like is for you to just get comfortable using a Unix environment and being able to edit in a Unix environment. There's another command, which is the cat command. I showed this in class, although I don't think it's in the slide notes, and that prints the contents of the file. And if I say cat, then here are the contents of the file. And if I go back and with my editor that I like so much, VI, and midway through, I put in something like, but this one line is different, and cat the file again, then you can see there's a lot of repeated lines, but my one line that's different is in between. Now, I love VI, and I've gotten to be very efficient with it, using it for 25 years. If you want to learn about VI, There's stuff in the notes, but there's also a program called Vim Tutor, and it will actually work you through how to use VI by reading. And so if you want to try VI, that's great. I do think because we're putting a lot of things in front of people, we're going to ask you to learn VirtualBox, we're going to ask you to learn how to use the Unix shell, we're going to ask you to learn how to use an editor, and ultimately we're going to ask you to learn how to use like a compiler and like some beginning C, and it's a lot that we're asking people to learn like in the first week. And so I think last year a lot of people tried VI and decided that there was a goodness to it, but ended up using Sublime. And so Sublime is also installed on this machine. And so I'm going to go back to the application launcher, and I'll type in Sublime. And this is an environment that I think is more like people like. Whoops. We're going to cancel the download. This is something I started typing before, and so let me just type this again. This is Hank typing away. And so if I go now and say File and Save, then I can save this file, and you can see it starts in the root directory, and then I go and say I want to save it under Home, Me, and I probably am going to give it a name like File2, and I've pressed Enter and that saves, and now if I do an ls, then there's a File1 and a File2, and File2 was last modified at 1853, which is right now, and if we cat File2, then there it is, and you can see it doesn't have a new line after it, but I can go here and I can keep typing and say, but this time I typed it in Sublime. And so now I'm going to go, and so if I go here and say cat File2, nothing. The changes here have not been saved, and so they have not shown up in this terminal. So I'd have to go File, Save, and now if I cat the contents, we can see this second thing saying this time I typed it in Sublime. So, you know, here in Sublime, I also think it's 80 characters by default in width. If you're nervous about it, you can do some typing in Sublime. So here I'll type a very long sentence. This is a very long sentence in Sublime, and it will exceed 100 characters in width. I promise it will if I keep typing and typing. And so you can see what's happened here, and I'm no Sublime expert and I don't really like Sublime, but you can see it says here's line 1, 2, 3, and line 3 Sublime has naturally wrapped around. This would not get you full credit because I want it to be that there's no more than 100 characters per line. So if you have something like this, then you should, and let me prove that to you. So if I go here and say cat File2, well, I got nothing because I didn't save it. That's one of the things I dislike about Sublime is that you type and you don't realize you need to save. Now if I cat File2, you can see that this very long line has wrapped around the 80 character width. And so, you know, and we could have seen that it happened there as well. So here in Sublime, I guess you would come here and press Enter and then go to another line and so on. So if you want to use Sublime, you could do File and then Save, and I could go over here and do a word count on File2, and it looks like I only have 39 lines, and so I'd need to do another 261 to get to the 300 word limit. Now, we've made it right into the Home Me directory. It doesn't really matter where it is, but Home Me is a good place. And then when I'm ready to upload it, I would go and I would fire up Chromium, the web browser that's installed, and I would go to Canvas. And then I would log in, and I would find the Project 1A prompt, and I would upload my file to Canvas. Looks like this is being pretty slow to load, but here we go, and off we go. We log into Canvas and then just upload the file. So it is possible to get your files moved out of the VirtualBox and elsewhere, and you can do it in a way, I'm just going to keep canceling these, in a way that's actually automatic, but to be honest, I think the easiest thing to do is just to fire up a web browser, attach it as mail, and mail it to yourself. You can do it, you see if I were here, this is my Mac down here, I can do something on my Mac where I fire up a terminal and then just mail it to myself and then check my mail here and download it. There are, of course, many other ways to do it. You can use Google Drive, you can use Dropbox, you can put stuff on GitHub, you can do secure copies from one location to another. There's lots of ways to solve the problem, but mailing it to yourself is an easy one. Anyway, hopefully this is helpful to everyone for doing Project 1A. Again, it's due Friday, which means Saturday at 6 a.m. Okay, bye everyone.